let's make some delicious, easy, flaky meat pie together. So I often start with my filling because you want it to be cold. So this is me just chopping up some baby carrots. You can use normal carrots if you want. You just have to clean them and make sure it's properly chopped. I like this because it gets softened easily. And I'm also using some white potatoes. Just chop it up and have a bowl of water. Once it's all nicely chopped up, just put it in the bowl of water, like I said, so it doesn't brown. And I currently have a pot of water boiling for the potatoes. And you'll probably want to set your oven to 350 degrees as well, so that way it preheats. So I've added the diced potatoes into the pot of boiling water and some salt to taste, and I'll proceed to make my filling. So you add some cooking oil and some onions. You can use red onions if you like. I like white onions because it's kind of sweet. And saute the onions, and you can add your minced beef next. You can also use minced turkey, minced chicken, minced any kind of protein you want, honestly. So you're gonna add in your seasoning, whatever you prefer, but I just like to use curry, thyme, suya spice, seasoning cubes, salt, the normal stuff. The potatoes, make sure it's not fully cooked, but almost done because it's still gonna bake in the oven. So add that all together, add some water because yet again, you don't want the filling to be dry, you want it to be juicy and moist, which is why you also need some corn flour. If you don't have corn flour, you can use flour just to make it a bit, creamy, juicy. And now I'm just measuring some flour. All the descriptions and the measurements will be in the comment place below. And I'm using some butter, 350 grams of butter. I'm just measuring that on my scale. If you don't have a scale, you can just use 3 sticks of butter. It's the same. Working with butter, it's very easy for it to become very, very warm really fast, which can impact your dough. So you want to work really fast, and when you're done, put it in the fridge or in the freezer because the cooler the butter, the better your dough. So now I'm just adding some flour, baking powder, salt, and milk. Yes, I actually add powdered milk to my crust because I want it to be really nice and like flavorful. Just mix it all together, then you can add your butter and mix. Oh my gosh, this part takes forever. Keep mixing till every block of butter is like super broken down and incorporated into flour. This takes a lot of time, so just be patient and keep. Once you feel like this has gotten really crumbly, you can add some cold water. We're working with cold stuff because yet again, once the butter gets warm, it's really hard for you to work with dough, especially when it comes to meat pie. And don't over mix. This is sped up, so it's not like I'm over mixing. Try not to over mix your dough. And I'm saying cold water, like very important, because yet again, cold water is what you need. If it's too warm, your butter gets too sticky and it doesn't just give at all, because the goal is for you to have as flaky crust as possible. So I'm just here kneading it together so it's nice and clean, and I'm going to cut it into two and put it in the freezer so that way the butter goes by to being solid, and the more solid it is, the easier it is to work with. So after that, I just let it cool down in the freezer for a little bit. Add some flour to a clean surface. Please clean surface. You don't want people to be sick. So make sure it's a clean surface. And now you just roll it with a rolling pin. This part is hard. It takes a lot of work. So just put your back into it. Use your energy if you need to. Your loved ones deserve really good meat pie. So they deserve it. So just put your back into it. Make sure it's properly rolled. Yeah, I'm just using a bowl. You can use a saucer, you can use whatever you like to just cut it out so that way it's really neat and nice, or as neat as it can be, right? We're not going for perfection, we're going for delicious. So don't be so fixated on is it perfect looking. Honestly, it's gonna taste good. Don't be so fixated on perfection. Is it delicious? So I'm just here sealing it with a fork, and I also like to poke holes in my meat pie so that way it vents in the oven. We're not cooking it on high heat. It's not going to explode, but I just like doing that. So repeat that process again. And yeah, make sure your butter is good. You can leave the rest of the dough in the fridge while you work on this so that way it's not getting warm. You're done doing all the dough. Now you're gonna coat it with some egg wash and bake for 45 minutes in the oven. And look at that juicy, delicious. Like it's so good. Just let me know if you try it out and don't forget to enjoy it. Till next time. Bye.